My name's Anthony Morgan, and as President of the Institute of Quarrying, it gives me a very great pleasure to welcome you all to the fabulous surroundings of the RICO Arena and to this year's National Conference. Before I do move to introducing the speakers, I'd like to spend a few moments thanking our conference sponsors for their continued support of the Institute. Special thanks therefore go to Finnins, Caterpillar and Cytec. As I'm sure you'll be aware, the exhibition stands spread around the hall. Many thanks to the exhibitors for giving up their time in attending today. I'd also remind delegates of the benefits of getting around the stands and speaking to our exhibitors during the coffee breaks over the next 2 days. Okay, as we're slightly in front of time actually, but without further ado, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the first of today's speakers. Peter Hansford, Chief Construction Advisor to the UK Government, sat alongside. Peter graduated with a degree in civil engineering from the University of Nottingham in 1975 and also gained an MBA from Cranfield University in 1986. He was awarded the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, by the University of Nottingham in July 2014. Peter has over 35 years' experience in the development and delivery of major infrastructure projects for government, public and private clients, consultants and contractors in the UK and overseas. He has worked on highways, railways and energy projects in the UK and on new town infrastructure in Hong Kong, and has advised on infrastructure developments and capital investment programs for numerous clients. Peter is a Fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering, a Fellow of the Institute of Civil Engineers, a Fellow of the Association of Project Management, and he served as the 146th President of the Institute of Civil Engineers from 2010 until now, till 2011, sorry. And is a visiting professor at the Bartlett School of Construction and Project Management at the University College London and chairman of the charity Engineers Without Borders UK. Please could I invite Peter to the stage to deliver the first of today's 2 keynote addresses. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Anthony. And as a long-time Saracen supporter, it's with a little bit of trepidation that I stand to speak here at the new home of Wasps. But there you go. I'm delighted to have been invited to speak at your Intelligent Quarrying Conference. What Anthony didn't tell you is this is my final address before I step down as Chief Construction Advisor to the government at the end of this month, after 3 years in post. Quarrying and mineral extraction are vital parts of the construction value chain, and I want to address what is happening to transform UK construction in this, the UK construction industry, and to make it world class. And your industry, of course, has an important part to play in this transformation. 2 years ago, industry and government worked in partnership to create the Industrial Strategy for Construction, Construction 2025. And Construction 2025 is a joint industry and government strategy to transform construction in the UK. The strategy sets out a vision of where industry and government jointly wish construction to be in this country by 2025 and how we're going to get there together. And it's a vision of a world where buildings and infrastructure are conceived and built much faster, with greater whole life value and better carbon and energy performance, with construction driving growth across the whole economy, and with UK companies working in partnership in markets at home and overseas. And at the heart of the strategy are four bold ambitions for the year 2025. A 33% reduction in both the initial cost of construction and the whole life cost of assets. And note here the emphasis on whole life costs. A 50% reduction in the overall time from inception to completion for new build and refurbished assets. A 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions in the built environment, in line with the low carbon route map to 2050. And a 50% reduction in the trade gap between total exports and total imports for construction products and materials, with more products sourced and manufactured in Britain. Now, this strategy was produced under the coalition government. And since then, of course, we've had a general election, and now we have a new government. But I'm pleased to say that the new government continues to support the ambitions of Construction 2025. So these ambitions remain unchanged. And the strategy's got 5 broad themes. People, covering skills, working conditions, diversity, image, and attracting and retaining the people we need for our industry. Smart, covering building information modelling, BIM, off-site construction, better use of technology, innovation, and a more coordinated approach to research and development. Sustainable, covering green and low carbon construction, and also addressing how to create a sustainable industry for the future. Growth, including building a strong and resilient supply chain, supporting the many SMEs in our industry, as well as promoting overseas trade and investing in UK manufacturing capacity so as to substitute for imports. And leadership, taking forward this strategy between industry and government. This is the role for what was new, it's been going 2 years now, the Construction Leadership Council. I'm going to say a bit more about the council in a minute or two. In fact, I'll talk about it now. The Construction Leadership Council was created back in June of 2013 when we launched the strategy, and it's now over 2 years old. And over that time, we've learnt some pretty important lessons. We started with a council of some 31 members, and this was important back in 2013. We were trying to get all the key players into the same tent. But anyone who's sat on such a large body will know that large groups do not make the most effective action. And if you've ever tried to chair a body of 31 people, which I have, you'll know how difficult that can be. So during this year, we've been looking at how the council can be streamlined and how it can work better and be more focused. And the new government very much supported this streamlining approach. So earlier this summer, ministers announced not only that the Construction Leadership Council would continue, but that it would be reduced to around 12 members. And council members have been drawn from all parts of the UK construction, major clients, architects, consultants, tier 1 contractors, material suppliers, SMEs, house builders, as well as the government representatives. We've managed to achieve that in 12 members. And the new Construction Leadership Council has had its first meeting last month. And members of the new council now champion and lead work streams. These are the work streams, and are accountable to the council for making it happen. The work stream leaders of these 6 work streams are collecting around themselves the people they need to develop and progress their individual work streams. And this is an opportunity for far more people from all parts of the industry to get involved in making Construction 2025 happen. So a smaller, more focused council, but a mechanism that allows far more people to engage. And I believe this is an opportunity for the quarrying sector to get involved in the work of the Construction Leadership Council through the work streams, the relevant work streams. And I would urge the Institute to contact the work stream leads, the relevant ones. Details can be found on the BIS website, and offer your involvement. So the 6 work streams we've got now are people and skills, covering resources, productivity of the workforce, apprenticeships, image of the industry, diversity, working conditions, and other related areas. People really are at the heart of this strategy. Smart and innovation, which again, covering BIM and off-site construction, smart technology, research and development, and using technology to make the construction process more efficient. Green and sustainable. This is the old Green Construction Board, as was. Green and sustainable, covering low carbon construction and reducing carbon emissions across the built environment. Exports and trade, promoting an increase in exports of UK construction services, products and companies, and manufacturing more products in the UK so as to substitute for imports. Supply chain and business models, covering procurement, fair payment, supporting SMEs and devising more appropriate business models for our industry. And finally, industry communications between government and industry and across all parts of the industry. So, what might be some of the key issues from Construction 2025 for the quarrying sector? Well, I would suggest 3 in particular: people and skills, innovation, and productivity. And I want to address each of these individually. So, people and skills. This is one of the key work streams for the new Construction Leadership Council. And over the last 2 years, the key issue, in my opinion, the key issue that has emerged in construction is a shortage of skills. And I'm also aware that in a recent report, the Health and Safety Executive has identified safety and skills as being a key issue for the quarrying sector. But I imagine Peter Baker will refer to that later when we get to the panel session. On skills, there's no doubt that we have significant skills gaps across the piece. There are various initiatives to address these: pipelines of work, skills academies, campaigns to transfer people from other industries, school initiatives. But another way to address the skills gap is to embrace technology to improve productivity, basically achieving more with the same resource. And I would say that's where off-site manufacturing, standardization, robotics and drones, BIM, and importantly, getting away from every job being a prototype. That's one of the issues in our industry. Every job is a prototype. How inefficient is that? And all of this affects our image. We need to change the image of construction to attract and retain new entrants. One area affecting the image of the industry is our working conditions. The UK construction industry has made enormous progress over the last 15 years to improve site safety. Conditions of the 1990s would not be recognisable today, but we've still got a long way to go. 70% of fatal accidents now occur in the small business sector, so we need to turn our focus to standards on small projects. And whilst we've come a very long way in safety, we must now bring the same focus to occupational health. And as I mentioned earlier, it's clear that safety remains a key issue for the quarrying sector. Diversity, lack of diversity in construction, has a large bearing on the image of the industry. Just want to have a look around the room today and sort of gauge the diversity of the group that's turned up here today. Less than 14% of people in construction in the UK are women, and only 2% are from ethnic minority groups. And of course, this is far from being representative of UK society. And I believe we can start to redress this by focusing on and celebrating the differences that the industry makes to the world. And finally, let me address the image of the industry. As I've said, all of these issues affect our image. To transform construction, the industry must attract and retain the right people, multi-skilled, diverse, creative, hard-working. This must become an industry of choice. And to achieve this, we need to fundamentally change how the general public perceives the construction industry. So we must transform our image. To transform the next generation, or to inspire the next generation, I should say, girls and boys, to embark on careers in construction, we need to communicate widely the things that we do, the differences we make to the world, the exciting new technologies that we're starting to embrace. And I believe this must start at a young age, perhaps 11 or 12 years old, maybe younger, but certainly before school curriculum choices have to be made. And in addition, we need to inspire teachers and parents, because they're very influential when it comes to career choices. And I've been challenging every construction company in this country, whatever its size, to adopt a school. And I'm sure the quarrying sector is already doing a lot with schools, but nevertheless, let me repeat that challenge here today. Adopt a school in each of the communities that you work. Get to know the head teacher, meet the children, girls and boys, and help them to understand the exciting career opportunities in your industry. It's incumbent on all of us to inspire the next generation to look at rewarding careers in the built environment. Let me move on to innovation. I pose the question, is unlocking innovation the key to significantly improving our image? There is no doubt that if we're to achieve the ambitions of Construction 2025, we need to do things very differently. We need to innovate. And earlier this year, the Construction Leadership Council determined its innovation priorities for the next 2 or 3 years. What are the things that the industry can focus on collectively that will lead to achieving the ambitions of Construction 2025? And from a process of considering the priorities in infrastructure, in non-domestic building, in domestic construction, the Council settled on 4 areas of priority: represented by these 4 quadrants in this diagram. Firstly, let's start at the bottom right, industrialisation and mass customisation, basically introducing more industrial process into construction by learning from manufacturing sectors. And this includes making the case for more modular housing and overcoming the barriers to that, mass customisation of non-domestic construction, meeting individual customers' needs by using repeatable components and processes. Basically getting away from this, every job is a prototype. Secondly, bottom left, embracing technology to create smart infrastructure and smart buildings, embedding sensors and advanced data management, linking it up with the Internet of Things. This is where level 3 BIM will come in. And the opportunities in this field, I think, are very exciting. The third area, top left, is business models. To what extent do the commercial relationships between clients, designers, contractors, suppliers, insurers, to what extent do they block or discourage innovation? And how can we remove commercial barriers to innovation? So that's what that's all about. And the fourth is retrofit, because most of the assets that we'll have in 2025 already exist today. So to achieve our ambition, we need to significantly improve the cost and carbon performance of our existing assets. One immediate area that we've been addressing is domestic retrofit, and particularly improving the energy and carbon performance of properties built with solid walls, predominantly those built before the 1930s. So for the Green Construction Board, I've been leading a review of solid wall insulation with the aim of making it more attractive and affordable to homeowners and landlords. And I published my report on solid wall insulation last week. It's the varied life of the Government Chief Construction Advisor, but there we are. It's clear to me that innovation has a big role to play in achieving the ambitions of Construction 2025, because we're not going to get there by incremental improvements alone. As I said earlier, another way to address the skills gap is to embrace technology to improve productivity, achieving more with the same resource. And one of the key issues for this new government is increasing productivity across UK industry and the UK workforce. And this totally accords with the ambitions of construction and the direction of Construction 2025. The task for all of us in construction is to find ways to construct our built environment by more productive means. Construction 2025 is all about transforming construction in the UK to become world-class by 2025 and fit for a 21st century. And this seems to me to be a good thing to aim for. So to conclude, I'd like to address the challenges faced by the UK construction industry in the light of the major infrastructure projects planned by government. The scale of projects ahead is massive, and I was going to use the word unprecedented. That may not be so, but certainly in recent times it's unprecedented. So let's look ahead. HS2, Hinkley Point, Thames Tideway, the Northern Powerhouse, including HS3 and other transport schemes in the north of England, the Northern Line extension to Battersea, Crossrail 2, new power generation schemes across the UK, another runway at Heathrow or Gatwick, or perhaps both, who knows. Highway schemes in various parts of the country, rail enhancements, the list goes on. And government has recently launched the new Independent Infrastructure Commission under Lord Adonis to advise on some of these schemes. And perhaps we're going to hear more about this tomorrow in the Chancellor's Comprehensive Spending Review. Who knows? We'll see what the announcements are tomorrow. So no wonder then that we need to transform the UK construction industry with some urgency to become more efficient and fit for a 21st century. And I'll leave you to consider the challenges and opportunities that all of this work poses for the quarrying sector. And finally, how can the quarrying sector support the wider construction industry in meeting these challenges? Well, again, that's for you to consider, and I think actually you're going to address some of this tomorrow. All I would say is remain fully aware of the opportunities on the horizon. I'm sure you are. Recognise the changes that are happening or starting to happen in the wider industry as it transforms itself over the next decade. And seek to play your part in the Leadership Council work streams that have been set up to address these challenges. Make contact, offer your services. I'm sure you'd be welcome. My prediction is that we have some exciting years ahead of us, and I'm sure that the UK construction industry as a whole will rise to this opportunity. Thank you.